When we say, does the Eibishter need the mitzvah, it is provocative. And the word is a little tricky. Because then you have to say, no, that's not what I mean by need. All right, you have to do. So people say, so why don't you just say want? And people won't get upset. So that's why I'm saying need. Because if they don't get upset, they don't get it. If want feels more comfortable than need, then you have no idea. Because to most people, want is better than need, because want means he doesn't really need it. That's exactly the opposite of what he's trying to convince people. What's worse, a person without breath or the Eibishter without mitzvahs? What's worse, a deer in a desert without water or a neshama without a lukus? Ka'ayol tareg alafikem. Cain, exactly the same? No. Nafshi tzoma is much stronger than a deer who needs water. Yes or no? Nafshi sare gelecha elikim. That's the nature of the neshama. A deer dying from thirst, that's not its nature. It's destroying his nature. It's killing him. So the water for the deer is just a technicality. It doesn't make him a better deer. It just maintains him. The nafshi, sare gelecha, that's what a nefesh is. Not an interference. Why do only Chassidim understand this? What does it take to appreciate the importance or the value of life over existence? What is the difference between them? The difference is existence is material. It's tangible. Life is intangible. So existence is like chaymer. And life is tzura. When the chaymer is stronger than the tzura, hey, if it's not going to kill me, then what's wrong? If I'm not going to get punished, then big deal. Then why not? If I do this, am I going to go to Gehenna? I don't know and I don't care. Just don't do it. Why not? I'm not going to Gehenna. To appreciate the value of life over existence, you have to have Hagbaras Hatsura ala Chaymer. The Ruchni has to be more real to you than the Gashmi. Who has that? How do you get there? The doctor says there's no cure for this. The Rebbe says you'll be fine. How do you feel? Depends. If the chaymer is stronger than the tzura, you say thank you, Rebbe, and you go back to the doctor and worry about it. If the tzura is stronger than the chaymer, then you make plans for a long life and a long future because you're going to be well. Because the Rebbe said. Yeah, but the Rebbe said is not exactly a physical fact. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's real. Whereas the physical fact, what's a physical fact? Chassidim who practice putting the tzura above the chaymer, looking at the ruchnias more than the gashmias, to them life is more valuable than existence. So they don't consider it Mitzvos Nefesh to give up existence in order to have a life. It's not Mitzvos Nefesh. They were just by Rabbi Krinsky. He was talking about his wife, and everybody was saying, well, she basically gave up her life because you spent all your time with the Rebbe and she had no... He says she did not think of it as Mitzvos Nefesh. This was her life. It never occurred to her that she's not living her life. This is her life. And she's excited about her life like anybody else is excited about their life. There was no sense of Mitzvos Nefesh. That's an Edelkeit. That means that Ruchnius is greater than... To go to an extreme example, how did Rabbi Akiva's wife enjoy her marriage? Being married to Rabbi Akiva? Doesn't bother coming home for 24 years, even though he lived just a donkey's drive away. You think he left that because he went over the ocean. He wasn't that far away. 24 years. And she was happily married? If the existence is more important than the life, she's not happily married. But if life is much more exciting than existence, she's a happily married man. And she has a great husband who she's very proud of. Marriage is Hagboras Hatsura al Hachaymer. And that's why people who don't have a sense or a feeling or an appreciation for Ruchnis, they don't see, why would I get married? What would I do that for? Who needs it? So getting married is an Edelkeit. Like we're talking about art. The whole point of art is that the Ruchnius is greater than the Gashmius. Because you take Gashmisdika material and you bring it to do something more Ruchnius than itself. Like you have a piano with a bunch of dead notes, but if you do something to those notes, they suddenly come alive, they suddenly produce a feeling. The sculptor takes a piece of stone, and all of a sudden it's starting to look like something. It's representing something. It's either pleasing or not pleasing. All of a sudden it's taking on some intangible ruchnizdike properties. And the same with paint and canvas. So art basically means bring out the tzura in the chaymer. So marriage is an art. The art of marriage. Every person can cry over his own problems. That's the chaymer. If you can cry for another person's problems, that's a tzura. If you can feel another person's pain, how did that happen? in the world of existence, you don't feel somebody else's pain. So when you feel your pain, you know you exist. When you feel someone else's pain, you know you're alive. Maybe when we say Ki heim chayenu ve'erech yameinu, who's the plural? Who's the us? Chayenu. Means me and the Eibishter. This is the Eibishter's life, and this is the Eibishter's arichas yomim. Because without the Torah, all he has is an existence. When he gives us the Torah, now we both have a life. Yeah, makes sense? F shalom again. That's why we say shechiyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu. Why is hechiyanu before kimanu?
Before existence.
Huh?
Life before existence.
Chronologically, first you have to exist. Like the expression, get a life. Who do you tell to get a life? Somebody who already exists. So l'chayra, first it should be kimanu, then hechiyanu. But it's not. Meidani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam. Well, first it should be kayam, then chai. Al shachiyisanu v'kiyam tonu. B'charta b'chayim. And not misa? That's good advice. B'charta b'chayim rather than kiyum. Put chayim before kiyum. That's why chay v'kayim. Because b'charta b'chayim.